As I'm approaching this piece on reintroduction status, like I promised you in the preceding encounter with Hybrid, my intention in starting coverage and showcasing Mesmerized as a name, and the first arrival for me from the Hungarian metal sphere. There's quite an admirable field of talent and boastfulness within the metal sphere, but I deeply admire the creativity. I've been a metalhead of many years, and to study the different points of approach worldwide, and not just limited to, America or maybe another country, you really start to take in how much ambition there is, and it's quite a rewarding field to study. Mesmerized. This first debut album has been out for some time, Electrolyze, and as I understand, the second album is underway. I don't remember the exact date, if one has been specified, or date range, but I'm looking forward to it. And like I leave anything with any artist, right? This might be the conclusion to what I've planned for our first phase selection of works engaging Mesmerized and recognizing them here for an opportunity of collaborative music appreciation, which I think Mesmerized is certainly well suited for, alongside many artists as well. However you approach, I want you to feel welcome. There is an open door policy I award to any artist here in terms of new developments, and Mesmerized is no exception. I'm looking forward to whatever comes next, because this first album, as a pitch of understanding for them, I think has been quite interesting. A more electronically reliant, synth-dominated rock group with great vocals, interesting lyrics, a bit of I would say in context of the numbers we've looked at, is centralized relationship study. I'm considering probably, again, I don't know the intentional decision on part of the band in terms of the directed motivation as to why it's a relationship survey, and it appears to be first and foremost in a relationship context. I don't know if that was necessarily directed, though of course there could be an openness to interpretation. I state this because, again, I haven't seen band declaration on if this was the intended philosophy, but it seems etched into the lyrics in a way that is inescapable to ignore, and quite admirably evaluated. Some of these pieces, like the last one, Hybrid, very creatively dig into the state of certain relationships and whatever societal context they might be seen in, whether good or bad. Hybrid creatively not only analyzes that, but then takes that name. I'm still coming off of Hybrid, even just on a reintroduction status, and I'm coming back to this one as well from where we started originally with Fresh Impression Witnesses, which were all great, but Satellite I did originally cover, but I wanted to give this one and Hybrid their fair due, with the utmost respect for every faculty to a song's development. And Hybrid, again, when I took that encounter, and I'm like, no, this one needs another evaluation because it really is such an interesting study. Taking the namesake so directly and interweaving that into the structure of the song, again, it very much was like a hybrid balance between different agents. It was really interesting. Again, solid delivery, at least in my opinion, instrumentally speaking, and in score craftsmanship, I've been very impressed, and vocal range as well. And I forget exactly, because again, as I said, I've intentionally separated myself a bit from these later pieces to make this as fresh of a re-entrance as possible. Satellite as a tune escapes me, though I liked it. I'm very curious, though, to engage with it. And finally, round out what I promised. Well, I don't know if I promised you, but I intended to do this in the beginning with Satellite. I might have said 6 videos and entries were planned for now, and this is going to wrap that up. Because I kind of left you hanging after shutdown. I'm like, I never meant to, take so long, but here we are again. To return back to Mesmerize, an emerging group that I'm quite curious to hear more from, and a group that certainly deserves to go places. And if you've not yet welcomed their graces, I think you will like them. I remember appreciating this number again for a bit of a harder side, which is certainly their core and what I've heard with all of you. And I'm going to do a full survey of the album for myself. I have it, in fact, on hand physically. I think I shared this story before. Maybe I cut it out. It was really funny. If you want to purchase this for yourself, and again, I had a bit of a challenge because originally it was, like I said in the beginning, GG6 from formerly Amraph's Unclean vocalist, the collaborative guest here for the final number, Cyanide. He's the bridge that brought me in. And the minute I found out about it, I'm like, okay, Mesmerized, I'll add them to the list. But their music is not necessarily available for purchase on digital outlets, at least from what I found in America. I mean, iTunes and Amazon didn't pull it up. So I went on eBay, and I'm sitting there at the time thinking, this must be the only one available in the world that's available for purchase. And so I'm like, okay, quick, I got it. And then I found out later their website, they had a bunch more. I don't know why I didn't find the website the first time I searched for it, but it's really funny in how I arrived to this group. But I'm glad I made that purchase on suspicion. That was at a point where I'd not humored any of them. Again, Cyanide, I enjoyed that with you right after I made my purchase. And really, any work we've recognized here from any artist or any song, even ones I have purchased well in advance, have proven to be money well spent. Mesmerized, certainly I would agree with that. From the 5 numbers we've witnessed so far, going on 6. And you'll see that with Satellite. And I'll be able to remember what exactly it was I found so great about this number specifically alongside Mesmerized's larger library. but an evident rock core. Or rock, metal, more electronically dominated. I really like how the synths breathe of this one. Again, there's an even balance between each agent where no part feels overshadowed, or that it deters from intention. Great breath sections too, and evolution of vocal pitch too. Their lead vocalist, again, I forget the name at the moment. Very intricate vocal variants, these limited jumps that you see in certain areas, like the transition into the chorus. Really interesting. We've seen that, I think, appear from my memory, at least in a couple other places of past songs. But this one, it does stand out quite well. I really like the key pick, too, for the synths. I like how ambient her voice is at that range. And it's well paved by the score. So the hovering person, not literally, but I think we all know this type of model of figurine the song speaks to. I love the darker roots to that riff foundation. The key picked here as it evolves is great. Cymbal breaths, but that marriage on the synths too really pulls at me. Great reach, especially for a conclusion song for our time together for the moment. It feels like a crescendo experience. Like if this were the album closure, it would totally work. That number has such a good range to it. You know, I really am starting to warm up more to, and this has been my story in the past, I've shared it before with certain groups. I was not the most open in terms of electronic influences in the beginning. I've had to warm up to it, and metal has been a great avenue for this. But now where I'm at, presently, with how many groups we've showcased that fit the electronic mold, we've recognized so many names that creatively and effectively well manage that agent and employ it again with a metal back. And when I consider electronically voiced songs, there has to be a natural balance between melody, instrumental. I still have to hear that that musical support with the electronic agent, maybe somewhat overarching, allow some, again, deviation on range, or lessened or equalized. But there has to be a balance between different agents, whatever that ratio looks like. But I have to sense both presences. And we've seen many groups in our time together that have fit, again, that billing, and have exercised each agent creatively and in new ways. Mesmerized, I get, vibes of some of my personal favorites, notably of Swedish stock, like Metalite, Amaranth. To them, Mesmerized is a great echo, but has quite reminiscent synth structures. And again, even balance between the instrumental and synthetic agents. But I really do like their numbers are extremely tight. They're shorter too, which allows for, I think, a good range to be captured. Each section of a song feels understandably limited in order to accommodate different traits or to exercise new amplifications, energies. Satellite really does take that synth riff hybrid. It takes it in a great direction. I find. Plus luminescent vocals, great wording, fun concept too that can be interpreted a variety of different ways, whether about a relationship, I guess, of somebody hovering around you, or maybe a sense of instability within yourself. I mean, there's different ways, again, that we all come and approach different songs that we know and are accustomed to, and how we process them. And I'll again allow for a range of interpretation to be, permitted amongst yourselves. But I see maybe a couple of threads that this pulls out with a quite dynamic score, an explosive one. A good visualizer too to boot. I love the color choices with some great key patterns. I love the darker sections on the bridge. It really stands out. Heavy riffs, appreciable metal backing. I love the voice of Mesmerized, and our time together with 6 numbers witness now, having finished what I planned a while ago. And what did you think of their pieces? Again, this is from their debut album. I hope you enjoyed it. With an open door policy, as I said, looking forward to the future with Mesmerized, and I think there's definitely license for their evolution. Whenever that comes, post our 6 experiences together, I am ready and waiting to hear more, because this is definitely a group that, again, is my first ever experience from Hungary, but they have quite an effective placement in the metal sphere today in some of my personal electronically dominated favorites, and with, again, a strong metal sense as artists, and a great survey in terms of narrative, very realistic concepts. I can't wait to hear more, because what I've seen demonstrated by this first album has been quite noteworthy. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.